Don't feel like watching movies, so I'll watch people guess them instead. I don't know how it goes, I think it starts with your show. Wanna laugh,
Welcome to the Valleycast. Woo!
Pandemic Podcast, week 63.
Basically,
Welcome.
It might be week 63. Yeah.
Probably very close.
It's probably close, yeah.
And we're handling it really well. And it's
Yeah,
a
everything's
smooth-
fine.
We roll with the punches. Some
You know,
people in other channels are having breakdowns, not us.
Not on the Valleycast, never.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest today. We have Sungwon Cho. How are you, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, also known as PROZD. What do you like to go by? Like when people are like, "What's your name?" Like,
Great question.
what's your handle?
My name? Sungwon. I prefer people to say Sungwon. And I demand I be known as Mr. ZD only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my father's name.
I
Never
choose to
lose the
call
facade.
you- I will choose to call you by your legal name if that's okay.
Okay, yeah.
James.
Mr.
So, James,
ZD.
when you were
Dr. Z-Dick.
we're
Dr. James ZD.
Dr. James
like the pasta.
We'll find it.
ZD.
dude, you've been on our movie games and I love you. I'm in love with you. I know you're married, so there's not a chance really, but I said really.
We'll see. Yeah, okay.
We'll see. Yeah, anything's possible.
Never
YOLO,
say never.
You know, I know you've been thinking about it. So, but I just wanted to say that it's awesome that we have you in this candid way on the podcast because we're gonna ask you a lot of really personal questions, and if you don't answer them,
Yeah.
we're gonna put in our own answers.
We'll dub it.
AI technology so that
Got
it
it.
looks like you said it. But
Which one of you will be dubbing my voice?
I will.
Well, let's all give it a shot really quick. Here's my audition to be Dr. ZD.
James.
Hello, welcome. My name is Dr. James ZD.
I feel like I'm seeing two of you at the same time. This is incredible.
Yeah.
That
I
was
feel
so
like-
good, Joe.
Uncanny.
It's a little like there's something wrong, something off. It might have been most of it.
Elliot, you go next.
Oh, okay. Thank you for having me.
That's not bad. That's pretty good.
I need some
Subtle.
time.
I like it.
I'm only gonna do a few words. That's all I can get out, and then I shut down.
That's actually
Steve?
That's really good. Okay, here's mine.
Here's what they say, chocolate rain. Neighborhood insurance rate.
We just got our last
Also
flag.
very subtle. Very subtle. Yeah.
Just a few words. Just a few words.
I can't do a deep voice. I'm always in awe of people who can do a deep voice. I think.
What is the deepest your voice can go?
I get here? I'll try it.
Oh no.
This is as deep. See, even my deep voice has like a high sound.
You got that
And a
tenor.
Muppet. You got a Muppet in there.
How deep can your voice go?
It has like droopy dog quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does. I hear. Let me try even deeper. Hold on. My name. Nope, I can't do it.
I don't know what that was.
I can't.
That
I
was-
can't do it. I was trying to go down deeper into the throat and not just like in the
Yeah.
head.
Got it.
So
Wait, we didn't get your deepest. What's your
Oh, yeah.
absolute deepest? Like we know
Mine?
you have a deep, but what's your deepest?
Probably something around here.
yeah, that's great. That's good. Yeah.
Whoa, I feel like I just got a back rub when you did that. That was really nice. That was so relaxing.
Right there, right.
Yeah,
That's the
that's
spot.
it.
Spot,
That's
right.
really good. My God, I didn't know I had so many knots.
I think you just solved my scoliosis with that.
Yeah.
That was great.
Do you find that you can do a even deeper voice when you're sick, or when you've been sick, when you've had like a little bit of a cold?
Maybe not necessarily deeper, but maybe a little raspier.
Raspy.
maybe. Yeah, but no, it's natural speaking ranges somewhere around here anyway. So it's getting sick doesn't really deepen it as much. It's
Interesting.
It's a little rough around the edges.
So Sungwon had me over on his podcast. Got a month ago maybe or something. You dropped it.
Yeah, a bit ago. Yeah.
And that was fun, and we gushed over some Mario and got into some fun places, which who knows, maybe we'll do that today. But for those that are not, whoa, hold on, my
He's having a stroke.
mom was calling. I don't even know who she is.
Wait, answer it live on the show.
Absolutely not. That's insane. Absolutely not. Whoa. Do you guys like watching? You guys
Joey.
want to watch Freud's whole work in action? Not gonna happen.
If you need to take that call, you can step away, and Elliot and I will be fine.
No.
Okay, it's not an emergency or anything. Okay, good. All right.
I was gonna say they can reenact. They can pretend
Yes.
that they're you, right?
Here,
There's a whole lot
I'll be
of playing
Joe's
each
mom.
other in
Here, I'll
this.
start.
It's chocolate rain.
Again.
How'd you know that was her
Nuances.
favorite song? But like I was gonna say, you've been on our movie game, which I thank you so much for doing. And for those that are listening that are Valleyfolk fans that are maybe not quite familiar, you're a Tumblr god from back in the day. What turned Vine god, turned YouTube god. You're very much in the voiceover world, and that's how I would introduce you. But what's your like elevator pitch for yourself when you have to do that like during an interview? People are like, well, how'd you get started, and how'd you get to here?
That $60,000 question that I don't think any of us could do. That we're putting you on the spot to do. When the elevator pitch thing comes out, I'm like, I don't know.
Mine's
I don't
different
know
every
what
time.
it is. Yeah, so don't feel like you have to. Yeah.
I guess for me, I just go, hey, I'm a voice actor in animation and video games. I also have a YouTube channel and do whatever I feel like doing on there, skits or just really whatever dumb nonsense I feel like doing on there. That's like the very easy pitch. I'll just tell people if they want to know what I do, I guess.
That's good.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's succinct. And it's like I don't have any questions. Like that's you nailed what you do, and it makes sense. And I'm like, oh, good, we can move on.
I understand that.
I don't
Thank
have
you.
any follow-up questions other than, do you feel like in current YouTube days that you are restricted to the content that made you who you are, or do you feel like you truly can do whatever you want and it still satisfies you and your audience?
I do whatever I want, and it satisfies me. I don't know if it
Yeah!
satisfies my audience.
That's called the sweet spot.
It's called self-love.
Yeah.
I really don't. I mean, I'm fortunate enough where my channel does fine, where regardless of what I do, but I do stuff that I know a lot of them don't give a shit about, but I give a shit about it. So
Good.
It's like,
What's the most recent one? Do you have what's the
for
one that you were
example,
like
I do like board game reviews, which only a very small percentage of the audience cares about, but I still do them because I love board games. Whereas a lot of them really like skits or or like, oh, I'm trying like 50 Doritos, which actually I love doing those. So that's like
Those are great.
That's like a win-win for like me and them. It's like for me, it's striking the balance of like I have to like doing all of it, and if I don't want to do it anymore, I just don't do it anymore.
I've got a question. Do you fuck with TikTok somewhat?
No, I've been told to try it, but
You would destroy TikTok.
You would absolutely destroy TikTok.
I know my audio gets stolen on there. Not stolen, but used on there a lot for like memes or whatever. But I don't know. I'm pretty good with where YouTube's at, and just to dedicate more energy to another fucking. We can swear on this, right? Or no?
Yeah. You
Dude,
can.
I started to use
Super
it
swear.
because I started to use it because I was like, I need something that's like different from the other things for a second. And it is like, and it gives me kind of like Vine vibes.
Sure.
In a lot of ways, but the community is really interesting, and the algorithm like serving you what you want without even knowing you wanted it is like really advanced stuff. That's like super. It's perfect for being distracted from the world.
And it sucks you in so much that I watched this happen to Steve, and it starts giving you things that you don't know that you want. And, Steve ended up storming the Capitol, and it was all because of TikTok and just what the algorithm was giving him over and over and over again until he was indoctrinated and not his president,
And I'm not ashamed because it was actually the day after. It was you were late. I got my days.
Steve stormed the Capitol, but it was the next day, and it didn't get.
Why?
And it was like, I thought, guys,
I saw all the news vans and the cameras, but nobody was there.
And I was hurt.
I felt like I had egg on my face. Disgusting. I don't like that joke, Joe. Let's cut it out of the podcast.
Apologies.
That's the first joke we've ever cut out of the podcast.
Speaking of board games, I saw you talking about Board Game Arena.
Yeah.
What is that, and why do I need to be on it?
Board Game Arena is a website where you can play board games for free, pretty much. They're fully automated and programmed, so it's not like Tabletop Simulator where you have to like move shit around. It's all just really easy interface. It's official as well. Asmodee just bought them. And if you pay like $5 a month or $2 a year, you get the premium, which gives you all the games. But even without it, it really sounds like every time I talk about this, it sounds like I'm fucking sponsored by them. But I'm not. Although I would love to be. I would love to be sponsored by them.
This elevator pitch is really good. I mean, you're giving the first elevator pitch a run for his money.
I'm really good at pitching things I like to people, and I'm like, these companies should pay me for this. But yeah, it's the easiest way to play games I've found. Because I've been, starving for board game playing during the pandemic. And it is the easiest way to play them.
Online with friends, set up rooms and stuff, and it's everything from classic to new stuff?
Yeah, it has, you have like Yahtzee on there, and then you have they have Terra Mystica, if any of you are board game people. No, none of you.
I don't know
I've not
that
heard
one.
of it.
You might have to tell us about that as well.
Please tell us, open up the world of board games to us.
Sure. Well, if you're not familiar with the world of board games, it can range from Yahtzee, which is a fun, very simple game, to Terra Mystica, which is about wizards terraforming the earth to establish territory and converting mana into resources to make buildings. It's
hell yeah,
very, very dense.
Wow. Mana as in the energy of the gods.
As in magic energy or whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It has a 3-tiered energy pool system that cycles. It's again.
I love it.
So would you say that, because we've all played Munchkin, and we've played, and I've played some D&D stuff, and I've played Settlers of Catan and Ticket to Ride, and I played those kinds of games. Where does that game fall in the advanced to intermediate to novice game world?
That's actually board game. There's a site called Board Game Geek, which actually is a giant catalog of every board game known to man, and it's user submitted. Everyone submits their complexity ratings and their how much they like the game or whatever. So there's rankings, and there's if you look up literally any board game on Board Game Geek, it'll give you a 1 to 5 complexity rating. So I would say Terra Mystica is a 4 to 5. It's up there. It's one of the most
dense. Yeah.
Ticket to Ride is probably 1 to 2.
Oh boy.
Okay. Work our way up.
Catan is probably 2-ish.
What's Monopoly? What's a Monopoly? Is that a 1?
Monopoly would be 1-ish.
Oh no.
So we haven't even
I've been knocked off my equilibrium. My goodness.
Yeah, that's the thing. We haven't even dipped our toes into advanced board games, which is intimidating but exciting, because I would love to hearing you talk about Board Game Arena sounds like the kind of place that I will get lost in, and I will spend every single moment of my waking hours in, because I love board games. The pandemic has made it difficult to play board games with friends, as you said. I think Tabletop Simulator was confusing, and the interface is kind of gross, and I was very turned off by it. So I abandoned that. But this sounds really good.
Yes, I highly recommend it. I mean, as far as like if that Terra Mystica is not a game I would recommend to anyone just starting. It's like that is like deep end, like fuck you, motherfucker. Swim. Yeah, good luck. No, like when I'm introducing games to people, especially if they've never really played like designer board games or whatever you call them, then you ease them into it. There's like you can show them like Pandemic, which is like a 2, like medium to medium 2, right? And then you go, okay, do you like that? And then maybe you show them some more complex games. And then some people, they get to a certain point, they're like, nope, I'm good in this range. And you're like, cool, I'll just show you games that I know you can handle. And some people are like hungry for more. They like something clicks in their brain and they go, oh, I really like how these mechanics work, and like it's actually not that bad. Because I would say that even the most complicated game, like say like a Terra Mystica, if the body is willing, and you are actually interested, I guarantee you could learn it. It really boils down to just patience and like wanting to learn it. And if you do, like, I find that once you actually have learned the rules to Terra Mystica, it's actually not that hard to play, because it's really just like do stuff and you get your little things and spend those things and do things. If you played any video game, the video game just does all the busy work for you. But a lot of board
how
games,
long does the whole game?
Terra Mystica? Oh
yeah.
God, Terra Mystica. Let me look up what their estimate is.
Is that usually how it goes too? Like, because it sounds like you're gonna say something real long, or like a real big
like
chunk of time.
Like there's D&D games that go on for months and years and shit. Like like I wonder if it's similar to that.
And is there like a correlation between how long a game takes and how difficult it is? Like, are the difficult ones usually like there's not gonna be a difficult game that's over in like 2 hours?
It depends. It's gonna depend on your player count. First of all, the more players you add to the game, the longer it's going to be, right? Because every player you add, that's more, what should I what should I do, right? So that compounds the length, but also they're saying you can't play this in an hour. I would say my guess is if you have, let's say everyone has played board games before, let's say aside from rules learning, which could take 30 minutes to like 30 minutes.
Right. The learning curve. We're still on the curve here.
Then the actual game itself, my guess, I would want to say 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, maybe.
Huh. What's the longest you've played like a game for?
Oh God. Including okay.
D&D campaigns excluded.
I'm actually not really a D&D guy, surprisingly. I've barely touched D&D.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But longest board game I've played was a game called Through the Ages. And it's a game about civilization building. You're like playing cards and you're building up. You're literally starting from, I think, like Stone Age till like the modern day. And it's very dense. It's probably on the same complexity level as Terra Mystica. That took, I want to say, it was also our first time playing it, but, oh God, 8 hours or something like that.
My God.
It was a lot. Like,
was it fun the whole time?
It was fun. I actually enjoyed it. I don't know. But then we played on a board game arena, and it took, that took long too, actually. But that was also, that was maybe 5 hours. Like,
damn.
It's
a journey.
It's fucking long. Like, it's one of those where you sit down and go, okay, I know I'm in for like a long haul here. Let's just go.
This is my life now.
Yeah, there's a really famous game called and I really blank on it. Twilight Imperium. Twilight Imperium. I don't know. It's one of the most. I've never played it yet. I need to because it has this reputation. It's this epic space war game where it's like 6 players apparently is like the best way to play it, and it's like it's like Game of Thrones in space or something, and apparently people take like a whole day. They're like, all right, or a weekend. They're like, okay, this weekend we're gonna play Twilight Imperium, 6 players, and we're gonna go like 12 hours or whatever. Like we're gonna take lunch breaks or something. Like
That'd be a fun like Airbnb trip.
That's what
for a
I
weekend.
was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Fun idea.
I was like, let's go to Idlewild and rent a cabin or Big Bear or something. Rent a cabin, get a fireplace going, set up like a real comfy tabletop area. Get all your confections and your drinks and your yummies, and just like, but the thing is like when I think about that, I think about how, okay, so for that particular game you need 6 people. That means you need,
I guess so. Yeah.
like for it to be the best it could possibly be.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's like, look, I know 6 people at least, but I don't know if I know 6 people that want to do that for that long. Is it hard to find people that want to do it and then will stick through the 8 hours and shit?
For me, I think I have enough people where I could do it. Like I could get 6. I could get me and 5 other people. Yes, I could do it. But it is definitely, the more complex a game is, there are definitely friends of mine where I'm like, I will never.
I won't subject you to this.
I like you too much, and I know you will hate this. I will not make you suffer through this. But then I have friends who I'm like, you will love this. Let's do this. We have actually talked about like doing the Airbnb. Like, let's get an Airbnb, especially during the pandemic,
cool.
right? Like,
Yeah.
we've been like, fuck, let's just get like, 8 people. Let's split like a really nice Airbnb. And just bring games and just fucking chill for like a weekend.
It sounds like,
I want to cry.
Sounds like heaven.
So
I know, right?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Oh,
dude, I bet you people have like these days Partridge Family that shit. Like some guy that loves the Twilight games and wants to play it but doesn't have a friend base meets a girl and they're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's create 8 children and then this is all we're gonna do.
We'll have a family of board game kids. There's always gonna be that one kid that's like, I don't want to do this, and you're like, God damn it, we have to have another kid.
You will make the pigs in a blanket. Go!
Yeah, I have a couple friends who are board game fans and they have kids and they're like, yeah, I get to play with my kids, and I'm like, you get to play more than 2-player games during the pandemic? I need to have kids now. God.
I know. I think I never want kids, but I think about how I could do so many things, like watch all the best movies that I love with a thing that I created. But the thing is like you never know if they're gonna like it. You never know.
50% chance, dude. They're gonna be like, nope.
Too much of a chance.
It's also funny though that like back in the day it was like you had kids so they could help with like the farm and get up in the morning and like harvest. And we're like, we need more players for the
I
game.
need someone to farm resource.
Jenny, it's 5 a.m. It's time to get up and harvest some mana.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right, get up, you little wizard. Let's do it. Put on your cap.
Because I know friends who like, and this blows my mind. I know friends whose parents were like obsessed with WoW and like would play things like Settlers and things like that. And it just blows my mind because it's like, if my parents were like, let's fucking play Settlers, I'd be very into that. Like, I don't want to have to teach my fucking family how to play that game. Because whenever you have to, like, dude, you gotta know that it's the worst to try to teach people how to play these games when there's like a mix of people that like have either ADD or some other thing, or they just don't want to
A gun,
or or they stormed the Capitol or whatever. Like they have their own things, but it's like the most frustrating thing because like I remember trying to teach people how to play Werewolf for fun, like Werewolf, the like Mafia or whatever, and it's like the most frustrating thing on the planet, especially when you're playing with like comedians, because everybody wants to get their jokes in and shit, and it's like no, everyone just shut up so we could get through this like tutorial, then you can tell jokes. It's like I just don't have the patience for that, really.
Gotcha. Have you tried One Night Ultimate Werewolf?
No, what's that?
One Night Ultimate Werewolf is an improvement on Werewolf, because in Werewolf, I don't like that when someone gets eliminated, they're just out.
Yeah.
But One Night Ultimate Werewolf is a version of the game where you play it in like 10 minutes. 10 minute, like that's it. That's the game. So you set a timer or whatever, and the whole game takes place in that period of time. So once it hits 10 minutes, it's done. You just do it again. They adapt the rules. It's still the same rules, as the original game, but it condenses it into like what I consider the improved experience.
Really? Shit. I gotta fucking try that.
Yeah, because you still do like the close your eyes and do all that stuff, but there's not multiple days. So it's like you do the close your eyes. Everybody does their shit. Werewolves open your eyes. You move cards around or whatever, and then that's it. You're just trying to figure out in that day who the werewolves are.
One shot.
So it just dives into the conflict right away. So if you haven't tried that and you like Werewolf, I highly recommend it.
It's like Speed Werewolf.
Yes, it's very good. Because I like Werewolf, but again, if you got the first day, you're
just like kicking
sitting there. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Some versions of Werewolf allow you when you die to like participate still somehow, but I've never found a version that's like a definitive one for when you die. But that sounds awesome. I like that.
Steve, when you were talking about your parents playing Settlers of Catan, perhaps, it made me think of the question: what were the games that you did play, like board game style, with your family growing up? So, like my household, Scattergories household, hands down.
Scattergories.
Played Scattergories all the time. Some Yahtzee made its way in.
Yep.
Definitely not a motherfucking Monopoly family. Hated Monopoly.
Oh, we played Monopoly, and we played Scrabble, and we played Cranium, and like all of that shit. All the basics, all the Target games.
Yeah.
Essentially.
For
What about
me,
you guys?
My family, we didn't play a lot of I played a lot of board games, either like with like friends or whatever. But with my family, I think it was mainly card games actually. Like you got your your Go Fish as a kid, and actually we were really into poker for a hot sec. And
Really?
Hearts, love Hearts actually. I think
Nice.
it's a great game. Played some Scrabble like a little bit, but my mom is notoriously bad with like retaining rules. Like we have played Hearts I think 1,000 times, and she still has to have a refresher. Although funnily enough, I never played board games with them as a kid really, but as an adult a couple years ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try introducing board games to them. So I did. I brought like Ticket to Ride and like Splendor and like these games. And some of them they were like, no. But some of them they absolutely latched onto. Like do you know the game Quirkle?
No.
Quirkle.
It's just a
Good
very
name.
it's very simple it's kind of like Scrabble where you have you have these blocks and they have colors and shapes or whatever. And so it's like if you have all of the same, I think it's like all of the same shape but different colors, and you're the last person to complete it, you get a Quirkle, which is like you get bonus points or whatever. And you're like
Sounds like a Futurama game.
Kinda, yeah. It's like just imagine Scrabble, but all the lines are like shapes and colors. But it's this thing of like I don't want to finish this line because if I put down this circle here and you put down the last circle, you score the points for the row.
I don't want to give this motherfucker a Quirkle.
Exactly. You don't bleep boy. I don't want to give this Martian a Quirkle. It does sound like a Futurama game.
It's wonderful.
It's funny. They not only did they really like it, because I brought it when I visited, and I just leave a bunch of games there as like my own. I guess it's like my second collection at this point. Just like my family, you can just have a bunch of these.
Reserve.
The family
Yeah.
home is your second game closet.
It's a
It kind of
storage
is.
bin.
It's like, okay, when I'm here, well, I know we have some games we can play. But then, no joke, during pandemic, they played Quirkle every day for months. Like,
Damn.
Yeah.
Really?
I was like, and they would like text me like, "This is the scores we got today." I was like, "All right." Like, I'm glad this resonated with you.
Do you think they could beat you?
Oh, I think they would kick my ass in Quirkle. Because I've played Quirkle like twice in my life. They've played it hundreds of times now.
I have to like write all of these down.
You changed lives with that. That's great.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
That's. I mean, it's one of my biggest hobbies. So I'm always trying to indoctrinate as many people as I can, and hopefully, people listening to this are also gonna be like, "I'm gonna try a board game." Good.
Well,
Go
we're gonna try
a
some
board game.
Quirkle too.
Yeah, and you guys, if you're not that familiar with board games, go play some board games. Go play some board games.
Have you ever tried to design your own more complex one that like movie game is ruleless and has absolutely no
It's a
Can't
children's
wait
strategy.
for children.
Can't wait for the complexity rating on that.
It's a game for children.
Probably a
It's a game for children that makes your mouth make funny noises.
Well,
but
it's not about how easy the game is. It's about how easy
Right.
it is to play it.
Yeah, how easy it is to learn.
But have you ever been like, I got the perfect idea for the most like genius, like long form, complicated board game that's gonna take the world by storm? Or is that just not where your interests are? Are you a player and not a maker?
I get asked that a lot, and I think pre-pandemic I would have been like, no, I was like, no, I'm not a designer. I don't care about that. I don't care, but I'm not qualified for that. But during quarantine, I don't know. I don't know if I told Joe about this, but we started doing themed trivia, like really elaborate trivias. Maybe I didn't mention this. I'll talk about it. So a friend of mine, circling back to Mario, Joe.
Hell yeah.
He
Of the
designed
brothers?
a Mario trivia of the brothers. Yes.
Okay.
He
The
designed
brothers
a
Mario?
Mario Brothers trivia, and it had not only all Mario themed questions, but there were like mini games and there were like items you could get in between rounds.
Cool.
So imagine like a Mario Party trivia where, okay, I get the mushroom. I'm not just like different variations of things you can do. You can like hurt other players. You can help yourself. Like if you get the double cherry, you can answer 2 answers on this question. Like that
So
kind
it's
of
like
thing.
it's like a board game version of Mario Party,
Well, Mario Party is a board game,
but like a real board game.
but like a
not
real,
like a video
like an
game.
in-person kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So he came up with that, and it was fucking great. And so a bunch of us just started doing our own. So I did my own Mario one. I did like a Pokemon themed one. And all of us kind of were bringing in our own mechanics. And as I was designing these, friends were like, you're just designing a board game at this point, right? Because mine was elaborate. It was like fucking like you get like a move system that you know, and there's weaknesses, and like it got pretty
It got
intense.
complex.
Like, here's the thing. For me, I think it's funny that you mentioned, do you want to make like a super complicated game? For me, I think the beauty is actually designing a game that has meat to it but is accessible. I think that to me is like, so my goal with the Pokemon trivia was to design a game where Pokemon fans and people who don't know shit about Pokemon could both equally have fun.
Oh,
Gotta do.
You got me. I'm sold. Where's the Kickstarter?
Yeah.
How do I support it?
Yeah, let me talk to Nintendo. I'm sure they'll sign that off for me.
You could call it
But-
Sticky Man. Sticky Mon.
Sticky Man. That Sticky Man. I think it's got to be Sticky Man.
Hey guys, it's your pal Steve here. Welcome to the ad portion of the podcast. Now, if you're watching the video version of the show, I might look a little weird. If you're not, if you're just listening, don't worry about it. Let's talk about ritual. We deserve to know what we're putting in our bodies and why, especially when it comes to something we take every day. Ritual's clean, vegan-friendly multivitamin is formulated with high-quality nutrients in bioavailable forms your body can actually use. Excuse me. What you won't find? Sugars, GMOs, major allergens, synthetic fillers, and artificial colorants. Plus, the fresh taste and delayed release capsule design make taking your vitamins easy. Ritual is the multivitamin reimagined. Guys, a multivitamin should contain key nutrients in forms your body can actually use to help fill gaps in the diet. Duh. No shady extras. Ritual's delayed release capsule design delivers high quality nutrients including vitamin D3 in just 2 daily pills. And Ritual is made traceable. You'll always know what nutrients you're taking and where they're coming from thanks to Ritual's one-of-a-kind visible supply chain. And Ritual's designed for your life stage in mind. Now available for women, men, and teens. Ritual multivitamins are scientifically developed to help support different life stages. So guys, why don't you get key nutrients without the BS? Ritual is offering our listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. You visit ritual.com/valleycast. That's ritual.com/valleycast to start your ritual today. That's 10% off your first 3 months, okay? That's pretty exciting. Anyway, and that's pretty exciting. Hey y'all, let's face it. Taking trips to the post office is probably not how you want to spend your time. It's not how I want to spend mine, that's for sure. That's why we recommend mailing and shipping online at Stamps.com. Stamps.com allows you to mail and ship anywhere, right from your computer. Send letters, ship packages, and pay a lot less with discounted rates from USPS, UPS, and more. Stamps.com has saved businesses thousands of hours and tons of money. With Stamps.com, you get the services of the post office and UPS all in one place, plus big discounts on mailing and shipping rates. Now, you can't get that at the post office, guys. Come on, let's be honest about that. Stamps.com brings the services of the U.S. Postal Service and UPS right to your computer. Stamps.com is a must-have for any business, whether you're a small office sending out invoices, an online seller shipping out orders, or even a giant warehouse sending thousands of packages a day. Stamps.com can handle it all with ease. Simply use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send. And once your mail is ready, you just schedule a pickup or drop it off. It's that simple. With Stamps.com, you get discounts up to 40% off post office rates and up to 62% off UPS shipping rates. Not to mention, Stamps.com has a fraction of the cost of those expensive postage meters. Come on, guys. Stamps.com is a no-brainer, saving you time and money. It's no wonder nearly 1 million small businesses already use Stamps.com. So stop wasting time going to the post office and go to Stamps.com instead. There's no risk, and with our promo code VALLEYCAST, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus free postage and a digital scale. Whoa! And no long-term commitment or contracts. You just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in ValleyCast. That's Stamps.com, promo code ValleyCast. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again. Finding new ways to stay in touch is more important than ever. And even though you're close by, you may not actually know your neighbors. Why don't you get connected with those around you without ever leaving your home with Nextdoor? Between buying and selling lost and found pets and offering help to neighbors, there's a lot to keep up with in your neighborhood. To stay up to date, you need Nextdoor. Ever need to borrow a ladder? Or you can't find your power drill? Or maybe you actually have to borrow a cup of sugar? Before you run out to the store and buy something, why not check with your neighbors on Nextdoor first? Now, Nextdoor is a free app that securely connects verified neighbors so you always know what's happening in your local area. Post and read about your community in real time. Nextdoor is always relevant to where you live, and you can access it right from your phone. You can also buy and sell items, find a last-minute pet sitter, connect with interest groups, hear recommendations for local businesses, and share safety information. With Nextdoor, you can even count on your neighbors to help in any need-to-know situations, such as timely weather concerns or local updates. For everything that's happening, there's Nextdoor, the free neighborhood hub. Guys, I use Nextdoor when I'm like, what the heck was that sound? What was that sound I heard that was so loud? My neighbors will know. And you check and you look, and you know, most of the time people are talking about it, and you know, sometimes there's a big discussion, and you know, sometimes there isn't, and sometimes nobody's talking about it at all. And then you can talk about it. So guys, why don't you go to nextdoor.com/valleycast. That's nextdoor.com/valleycast to sign up and see what your neighbors are talking about. Be sure to use the link to sign up so they know you support our show. And that's important. Come on, guys. You gotta help the boys out. That's nextdoor.com/valleycast to join your neighborhood today. And don't forget to tell them who sent you. That's the Valleyfolk. That's us. Anyway, back to the show.
But I designed this, and it was a hit. Like, we've done it several times. Like it worked. Like, I designed things in a way where, even though there's kind of like a lot of different, like, you know, bonuses and shit, all you really need to worry about is like a couple things a turn. Because I think a lot of really good board games will have a lot of like interesting things or whatever, but the basic turn thing of what you do is just like you can do one thing a turn or something like that.
Yeah.
That simplifies a lot of things for people. And so now when I'm asked, would you design a board game? I'm like, I think if the right opportunity came along, then I would maybe do so. Because I don't want to just like design something and it's just like, or like just not like half-ass it and it just has my name on it and it's just bad.
Yeah.
You know, especially because I'm such a big fan, right? It's like, whatever you got. What are you guys most passionate about? Like, what's something you're the most passionate about?
Masturbation.
Okay, yeah.
I like psychology.
Psychology. Any mediums like film
movies.
or
I like the
movies,
psychology of masturbation. Okay.
Okay.
I like movies about masturbation.
I like movies about masturbation.
The psychological effects of masturbation.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
It'd be like
The
putting
board
out,
game.
Yeah, the board game.
Yeah.
It'd be like if you put out you're a huge film buff. You put out a film with you directed it, but you just half-assed it, just shit, right? You don't want.
Oh,
that, right?
sure. Yeah, you
So
can't.
for
do
me,
that.
it's like if I'm gonna do that, it's gonna be on fucking Board Game Geek. People are gonna be playing it. I want it to be like good enough for my standards and not just like, whatever, just the PROZD game. Yeah, whatever. Who cares? Like,
Right, and you don't want people to make fun of it or find holes or something and be like, this isn't a good game.
Yep.
You want it to
Yeah,
be
it would
like
have to
no
be
one
up
can
to my
just-
standards to have
Yeah.
my name as a designer on it. So I would
Dude,
say
have you
maybe
seen,
maybe in the future? Yeah.
Yeah, do it, man, because you are the only one. Let me do my Shia LaBeouf. My Shia LaBeouf. Only you can prevent forest fires.
That's what he said
You have
too.
the
Yeah.
power. You can do this, man. You make it. If you got the game in your head, if you got the rules in your head, you got the talent, you got the skills. You got this, man. You can make this game. No one can tell you. You don't need to wait for the right time. The time is now.
You know what? I'm gonna
Spitting
make Sticky
image.
Man. I'm gonna do it. Sticky Man.
Sticky Man, the game.
It sounds like you're on the precipice. It's just like you said,
Yeah.
the timing, and the little perfect tweak of an idea, and you're just gonna do it because you're already there.
Shia's push is gonna be
Right?
what makes-
It's all about.
Yeah. It always is.
Shia's push is my favorite fragrance.
I was gonna say Shia's Push is my favorite tabletop game.
Oh, I was gonna ask if you saw the documentary Game Masters that I keep trying to get Joe and Steve to
I
watch.
still
Game
haven't watched
Masters.
it.
Which one is that?
It's on Amazon Prime, and it's about the board game kind of invention community. And they go to these conventions, and they'll have like test groups and focus groups for people who are creating new board games. And some of them are really cool. Some of them are highly inappropriate and don't work at all. And you watch these people, and you see the community, and it's very fascinating. I watched it because
Game Masters?
about and I think that's what it's called, and you should see that it's on, I think Amazon still, but it might be worth your time if you're interested in that world. You might recognize a lot of the games too.
Ooh, yeah. I'll have to check this out. Game Master.
That's what it is. Okay, yeah.
I'm already looking at the IMDb. It's got a ton of really well-known designers.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
really? So you do know? Okay, cool. Yeah,
You're so deep into it. Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah, I'll have to check this out.
I shit the bed on my own question of what we played growing up, and I'll parlay this into why.
Well, your mom
do
was
you
just
think-
calling to ask if you wanted
Yeah, I
to.
know.
You wanted to play Sticky Man.
Why do you also think that cribbage is one of the best board games ever created? Because that's what we rocked, and I still rock with my family now. I'm like, I
What?
taught my daughter to play cribbage when she was 6.
What is
and we
cribbage?
still play it. You don't
It's
know
like
what
when
cribbage is?
there's like two opposing wizarding teams, and they have the brooms, and then they have to kind of,
Oh, and
I know.
they're trying to
And
catch
the snitch. The stitch, yeah. They try to
I
catch the little
actually
tiny
played-
stitch.
I actually played cribbage for the first time on Board Game Arena.
See? Good.
I gotta go to board
It's the one with the pegs.
Yes,
right?
yeah, cards and pegs. It's an old person game, but I love it so much.
Oh shit! Yeah. Cribbage was one of those games like backgammon where you just hear the name so often, and it's like, fuck it, it's pandemic. I'm gonna learn how to play cribbage. I'm gonna learn how to play backgammon, and yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're like for like.
You see
older
the value.
games, like,
I play a game every day called "Did I Take My Prozac or Not?" and I can't remember if I did, and I lose that game a lot. and it's
Depending on the
multiplayer.
day, it's
And that feels like winning.
I see that there's Carcassonne on Board Game Arena. Do you play that ever?
Carcassone's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've played that a couple times.
Hey, do you guys, Joe, Elliot, you guys ever played that?
I've never heard of it.
It's like you take. It's almost like you take command of like real estate in a fake like fairy tale land. There's like castles and churches, and it's like you're building. You're trying to build to own the most land, essentially, right? Is that the way you kind of?
Yeah, I would pitch it as like it's kind of like you're making your own competitive puzzle.
Yeah.
Because what it is, it's like these paths and roads and buildings all connect in certain ways. So it's like I'm gonna place this tile down, and it has to connect to the roads and the tiles around it, and then you can I'm gonna claim this castle, and then if
drop
you
a
finish
little
the
guy
castle,
on there. Yeah.
you drop a guy on it, you finish the castle, you score points. Yeah, very simple. Just putting tiles down, trying to make sure and it kind of builds this giant map, which is fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's like, and it's very competitive. Like I feel like there's a lot of board games that could create tensions in friendships and relationships. What is your stance on competitive games? Like me, I tend to only play competitive games with people who are not too competitive, because then it gets like not fun. It starts to get like, well, this is all about somebody winning in a way that's like not fun, and in a way where like, because I'd like to play with people who don't really care about winning so much and just want to have a good time.
I see. For me, if anyone's like a weird like aggro like bad sport about like they gotta win, I like if I ever see that in a player, I won't play with them again.
Yes.
For me.
Yes.
Now there's a difference between that and wanting to win though, because like whenever I play a game, I always want to try to win, right? I like competition. So like some of my favorite games are like with people who are all like really, really into it and really wanting to win. But there's a difference between being very passionate about winning and being like bad sport or
An
like,
asshole.
Or
an asshole, right? Yeah, you can absolutely be competitive and not be an asshole.
I guess that's true. I guess it's important to separate the two, because it's like certainly everybody wants to win, but like the stakes of winning need to be realized, right? Like it's like winning this game doesn't mean that you are a superior person. It just means you won, and that's awesome, and we should all be
I don't know,
happy.
Steve. I don't know. I, as someone who's never won a game, I feel like I would feel that I'm superior to other people.
But you know, there's people like that, and that's where it's not fun.
Yeah.
Well, and then
And the other end of the spectrum where they don't care at all and they're too good for it and they're just here to have a good time and therefore they don't try their hardest, because you want people to put in an effort at some point.
I always ask people, or I mean, if it's like I don't want the opposite where they're just like, I don't care what I'm doing.
Exactly.
I'm on my phone. First off, no phones at my board game table.
Smart.
Oh.
Like you like if it's an emergency, like you got an emergency text, yeah, great. Otherwise, put your damn phones away.
Wow.
Because and I don't do this in like a really aggressive way, but I'll just be like, come on, hey, let's just focus on.
let's be in the moment and play.
Do you make a pre-game announcement? Do you go, just no phones?
I don't, because usually it's fine. But if somebody and it's not
sniper
like
'em. I like that.
It's not like I see a phone and I just slap it out of their hand. But sometimes somebody will just be like, what? And I'm like, no.
No. We're playing a game, and we're all
Yeah.
focused, so you should be focused too.
Yep, it's disrespectful.
Yeah, it's like why are you here then?
Right.
Like you could just be home, and not to sound like no phones are bad. Like listen, I fucking check my phone all the time, but I feel the same way about movies. Like if you're texting during a movie, I'm like, why are you here?
100%.
Watch the movie. Yeah, it's the exact same thing. It's like board games are usually 2 to 3 hours. Movies are like 2 hours, 3 hours. Well, longer, or that's kind of a long movie. But we're here to just have an experience together. I think you can check your texts after the game.
They'll be there.
Right.
The Twitter timeline will be there in 3 hours.
You must be like really torn when one of your asshole friends busts out some Quirkle in the middle of a movie, and you're like, I don't know what to do.
You just get on your cell phone.
What about when, like, because when I play Munchkin, we use like the app for like rolling the dice and keeping your stats. Like, how do you feel about that kind of thing where you use your phone as like a companion to the game?
Oh, that's fine. That's totally fine. Yeah, like there are actually games that fully are only playable with apps. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Like Mansions of Madness is a game where it's a great game actually, where you the game sets up the board for you. It tells you put these here, put these things on here, and then you it's almost kind of like a video game. As you're going through, like if you talk to this NPC piece or whatever, you click the app and it'll do the dialogue.
Whoa!
And it's real time, well, not real, kind of real time. So it's like if you don't go in this room fast enough, like in the turns, the game will tell you something happened. Like you hear a scream in the other room.
The app will tell you?
Yeah. The app fully runs.
Oh my god,
game.
I love
So
that.
all you have to do is if it tells you to move stuff, you move it. It has it's fantastic. So
I feel like you're really selling me, and I know none of these games are
saying, man.
sponsored. Yeah, like I feel like I'm at the very, like I haven't begun the journey, but I do feel like I see where this is going, and I can see myself in 10 years being like, I can play a 1 to 2 game that you were mentioning before. Like I can see this happening because it
10
sounds
years?
so
I'm
fun.
gonna cut that down. I'm gonna keep cutting that down. 5 years.
5 years?
How about 2 years.
How about
Don't.
2
I'm
years? You got
I
How
keep.
about this year.
How?
Yeah.
like Christmas.
Well, you're just
Like
being
Christmas.
silly.
Here's the thing, like
Christmas.
I think for any person, I do genuinely think there is at least one board game that you will love
Yeah.
that is not just like fucking Monopoly or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am a Monopoly guy, and I have an antique
Sure.
Monopoly table in my living room. However, of course, everyone hates that game. I too have
love
grown to hate it. Yeah, I mean, I'll play it anytime, but I get that's one of the. It is a game that tears people apart, and it also makes you feel like you're 90 years old. I think when you're playing it at this point, but I'm so excited. Yeah, to learn. To find that one game that you're talking about that I can actually understand and play, and
What
other
are your
friends can
favorite
get it.
games you play? Like, do you play any board games?
I play a lot of Scrabble on my phone constantly. I've played since pandemic, similar to your parents. I've played about 800 games of Scrabble
Okay.
or something like that.
Let me give you one recommendation right off of that, because I like Scrabble, but a game that I think for me I like more than Scrabble is Letter Tycoon. You ever heard of this?
That's the best
No.
name I've ever
I'm
heard.
writing it down.
I'm right.
So
Yeah, I'm
Letter-
listening.
Letter Tycoon. So the reason why I'm not big on Scrabble is I love word games where you make words with what you have, but Scrabble rewards you more for where you place letters. Right?
Gotta get that triple
Versus-
word, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, got it. If you get the Q on
Yep.
the triple word,
Oh, you're
letter,
done.
that'll reward you. So it's like I'm gonna make QI, because that's a fucking word. I mean, I know this because everyone plays it all the time in Scrabble.
I feel like
And
you're
X-
attacking me right
and
now.
X
Stop
you.
attacking
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Whereas if you use like 6 letters, it's like, look, I made this crazy word. It's like 8 points.
Yep.
'Cause
Yeah.
It's not on any of the
No one
cool
cares.
little squares. But Letter Tycoon is a card game where and I've only played this on Board Game Arena. I have not actually played the physical version yet. But what you do is you play letters to make words, and you use the money values on them to buy patents for letters.
Cool.
So it's like, okay, I'm gonna buy.
Oh,
the
Elliot
patent.
loves this already.
I'm
I
gonna
love
buy
this.
the patent.
Well, I love
so
extortion. So, and I love like
Oh,
having
if you-
having things
see-
over people's heads. So,
Listen, you said Monopoly, you said Scrabble. I'm like, this is the perfect combination, because how this game works is, okay, you make a long word. It's like I'm not gonna get the exact details right here, but let's say you made like a 6-letter word, you get like $6 or whatever, and you look at the bank of patents for the letters. You go, I'm gonna buy the E patent. So that means every time someone uses the letter E in their words, you get a dollar.
Oh!
So it's like, do you decide, okay, I'm gonna buy, because those are more expensive, but it's like, I'm gonna buy this patent, but this letter's gonna get used all the time. So if
Damn.
they're using T's, I'm rolling in fucking money.
Or like
baby.
F.
I
you know.
love
Yeah,
this
like-
idea.
exactly. And then there's if you buy one that's hard to like Z, no one's gonna use Z, but those have special abilities. So like they might be like, okay, if I have the Z patent, I can do wilds in my words, or I can do whatever. There's like different powers or whatever. So you're just trying to get the most money, by making words.
It's monotonous.
I love it's truly it's perfect. It's perfect. It's like a love child, beautiful love child. Yeah.
So that's why you should Board Game Arena. I think it's either free or get a premium account, and it's again not sponsored, but
I'm gonna again can't emphasize this enough. What was it? What's it called?
Letter Tycoon.
Letter what?
Tycoon.
That's like the roller coasters.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever played Secret Hitler?
Mm-hmm.
I have like a really cool edition of it, a physical one, and I have never played it. Like I've had it for like years and years, and I just want to play it, but nobody ever wants to play it. Do you know why? And how do I play this with people? What can I do?
That's a shame because I have the physical version and it's one of my favorite games actually.
The big wooden
Secret
box,
Hitler?
the like.
Oh, I don't have the wooden box. Fuck, you have the wooden box and you're not playing that
I
shit?
know, and I
Oh,
keep
man,
trying,
okay.
and everyone's like, dude, I am not friends with people that really want to play tabletop games. I think I now have friends that want to, but I can't convince Joe and Elliot to sit down and play. It's been
Elliot, do you remember the last time Steve asked us to play Secret Hitler with him?
No,
Do
I
you
don't remember,
do you
Joe,
that
but I'm
time?
sure we said no outright.
sure you don't remember because I pitched it as a shoot, and you guys were like, yeah, sure, and it was like, no,
Okay.
but
I can understand that. That makes sense.
The thing is like one time, I think we were on our tour before COVID, and we went to a restaurant that
Possibly during COVID.
possibly with COVID. We went to a restaurant that had it was like a bar. It was like a restaurant and board game place where you could play board games while you eat food, and I loved it. It was great, very chill vibes, and I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to force my friends to play Munchkin with me because I love Munchkin so much, and I can never get anybody to fucking play it with me. So I forced everyone to play it while we ate essentially, and I seem to remember you guys generally enjoying it.
Yeah, I love Munchkin.
But it was like, oh, we're done eating, so the game's done, and it was like we just kind of stopped, and I was kind of bummed out about that. And now I'm just airing my grievances.
I think we had a show the next day.
We were tired. Yeah, we were jet lagged maybe, and we're hungry.
But the thing is we never played it again, and I think you guys weren't super into it. So it's I need to find my people that want to play.
I think your words are hurtful. I have a pitch.
And Secret Hitler, because I really want to play Secret Hitler.
Can I try an exercise with all of you right now?
Okay.
So I'm gonna pitch a game to you.
Okay.
I have a game in my mind, and it's been rattling around for a bit. I might have mentioned it to you, Steve and Elliot, at one point. I've got the movie game. There's a couple other card-based games, Cards Against Humanity-ish. I've got those, but then I've got this other one that I want to make that it's a little bit more complex. I'm going to try and pitch it to you. It's not fully fleshed out, but here we go. We can work on it in real time. It's called Battle Dice. And Battle Dice works like this. You probably need 2 to 3 to 4 players. Okay. And you each have 5 dice. A normal die. 5 die, I should say. And they're all normal, just 1 through 6 numerical dice, right? Mm-hmm. And then in the middle of the playing surface, let's say there's 4 of us and we're all sitting around a table, dead in the center. This could be a phone app, but it'd be cooler if this was a piece that came with the game. There's a button that you press, and when you press the button, there are probably 20 to 30 very intense tracks that would be under a war scene in a movie, just very driving. So that's how a round starts, right?
Yes.
And this is how right before we press the button, this is what happens. Let's say it's my turn. There's a stack of cards in the middle. You flip one over, and there's going to be a number on it. Anything from 6 to 30. You roll all 1s on your dice, it's a 6. You roll all 6s on your dice, it's a 30. But I pulled out a 17. We pull out 17, we throw it on the ground, we hit the button, Battle Dice starts. You take your dice and you roll. And the point is to be the first person that gets 17 on their dice. It doesn't have
You're adding it up.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be Yahtzee style where it's in one roll. It's okay, I'm going to keep my 5s here and I'm going to keep rolling till I get your thing. As soon as you're the one that gets it, you hit it, you stop the music. If you're the one that gets 17, you get to take a hit or a swing on another player. Everybody, let's say, has 5 hits in a very complex version of the game. Maybe there's little dolls, and it's like you rip off an arm on somebody until finally you decapitate them at the end. Otherwise, it could be just little like pegs or whatever that denote the hits. Now, that's the simple version.
Okay.
Let's also add there are attack cards, or let's just say action cards that you all get. And at the beginning of the game, everybody gets 3 in their hands. These cards can be many of things. One could be like a minus or a plus cards. It's like you have a -5 in your hand. As you're doing the battle dice and you see somebody getting closer, you put a -5 next to their dice. So if it's 17, they have to be, I actually have to get 12. So they have to roll a 12 in that. You could also have extra die. So it's like, bam, we're in the middle of this battle. I put the extra die card next to you. Now you have to find that number with 7 or six die. So it's very fast paced. And then there's also,
I guess I'll just learn as we go.
Yeah.
Let's just start around and see how it
We'll
goes.
just start around and see. We'll do a practice round.
Also deflection cards. So if like somebody's like hitting you, you're like, I got a deflection card to the left. You block it with your shield. It hits to the player to the left of you, or you can have a reflection hit and the person hits themselves. So there's still strategy, but it's very fast paced and there's math. And I worry that the math is the off-putting part.
You should call it Do or Die.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I like that.
It's funny. It's funny. You're describing this. This is actually no. It's a genre of game. I don't know if you've heard of. Heard of these real-time rolling games? Have you heard of? Okay.
No.
So there's one called like Escape from the Temple, A Curse of the Temple or whatever, where it's a cooperative game where you all have to roll dice to move your pieces around, and you're trying to like get to the right thing and pick up the right things, and then you do that with dice. But if you have, it's so similar kind of thing. There's Project Elite, which is a cooperative game I played recently, where you're like space marines and you're using the dice to move around and shoot things. So there's similar games. And I still think this game actually, I think it would really depend on the cards for the design of the game. Because I think there is actually, if you could design, because getting the right number, that is a fun mechanic. It is fun to like frantically roll dice to try to get the exact sort of thing. And then if you...
We got...
What are you guys looking at?
We got
Greg's
some
bag, everybody.
We got
Is
grapes
there something behind me?
Yeah, and
She can't hear you, but she says hi.
I can't hear any of the terrible things. Goodbye.
Bye.
yeah, it would. I think it would depend on the cards. I think you could have a lot of fun with the card design.
Exactly.
And if you wanted to make it like a party game, you could do things like, okay, you have to stand up and roll the dice, or you have to
modifiers.
one hand, things like that. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. You add things
Yep.
to the dice roll. Yeah, I like.
Yes.
But has there ever been a game that like includes like epic music that like not like
pre-recorded?
that's like pre-recorded part of the game?
Yes, Escape from the Temple does that.
I love
does it?
that. I
What
love
happens
that.
is it's like you play this track, and once the music starts like doing like doo doo, or it's something where like once the door sound effect closes, like boom, the round's done and you have to stop. It's like that sort of thing.
Oh,
So
I like that.
like do or die. That's pretty good.
All right,
I
cool.
love that, man.
It wasn't a no. You guys didn't give me a no. I think there's hope.
No, the reason why I didn't give it a no is because those are fun. So it would really be like, what's going to be like, what are the cards like? And if you could come up with like a cool theme on it, right? Like if you do, like you said, like battle, like gladiators or something, then you could have some really thematic like cards or something, like to make it feel like, oh yeah, I'm chopping your arm off or whatever. So
It'd be like an arena setting with a bunch of different gladiators, like probably like that have been thrown in this arena from over time or from different like universes and stuff. Like, so you have all these different characters that you could be.
And
that,
maybe
and
you
they could have
like,
different powers, right? Like
Yeah.
they have different, so.
Yep.
And you could have like a deck of like there could be a deck that's just like right in the middle that's like what kind of damage you did to the player after you got your 17 or whatever. So if you're the one that got to deal the damage, you pull a card and it'll say like, oh, it cut your arm off. So
Yeah.
now you keep this card, your arm is cut off for the whole rest of the game. And if it like cuts your head off, then like maybe you die. Maybe that's how that maybe you can't continue on if it's a head, you know, something like that.
That's why I'm thinking an accumulation of hits
Yeah.
would be the mechanic that would make the most sense. But, you know,
I love how we're pitching things that like we think are cool and we think would happen in a game like that, but like definitely these things exist in like maybe not one game, but like in many games there's
Yeah.
probably like some kind of thing where
No
you,
new ideas.
you pick a card and it has the damage that your character received or something.
yeah.
Oh, but that's like all board games just steal ideas
Yeah.
from other board games. Like that's not uncommon.
Right.
Like the first deck building game, like not Magic, but like Dominion, where it was like, you ever heard of a deck building game where you make the deck as you play?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dominion came up with, that was the first time anyone ever came up with that concept. Now it's a whole genre.
Yeah.
Like it is a huge genre in the board game space.
Because you
So,
kind of have
yeah.
to, right? Like, because when something works really well, and that's the reason why you keep coming back to the game, then you're like, oh, well, I can use that in a different way in this game and make it even more replayable or something. Like, that's the beauty of kind of taking things you like from all these different games.
Yeah, it becomes about like maybe put your own spin on it or add stuff that you like to the game. You know, it's taking old ideas or just ideas that have been used and what makes your game different from the others. Like that, why should I play this?
It's got a cool music player thing button that you hit, and then you hit it.
Again,
Yeah, maybe it comes
that's
with like
plus.
it
That's a plus.
comes
You
with like
nailed
a
it.
hit
Yeah.
clips. Like a hit clips little boom box, and you have like the hit clips that you stick in, and you could get like music expansions or something.
Oh,
like,
and if you hit the button and your dice were wrong, you end up hitting yourself with your sword. By the way, it's
right.
like
and in real life, your friend is allowed to punch you.
yeah, exactly.
Guys,
Yeah.
I don't
Or
know if you know
decapitate
this,
you.
but
Yeah.
we talked for an hour about board games.
That's exactly what I.
But this is I'm
all according to
truly
plan.
And it was
so
fun.
excited.
It was so fun and exciting. It was awesome. Dude, have you played there's this bird game that's like birds. It's like all
Wingspan?
Yes. What do you
Yeah.
know about that, and do you like it, and should I look into it?
Wingspan's great. It's a game where first off it looks beautiful. You have like these little eggs and like
That's
it's
what
like a
drew me
fucking,
in.
Like, it's like a birdhouse or some shit, and they come out of the. It looks great, but then it's an engine building game where it's like okay, you put these birds on your board, and they all have different like little powers. So it's like okay, now that I have this bird, whenever I play this kind of bird, I get this egg or this that. That's what an engine building game is. It's like you're building this big machine of like. If I play this card, that lets me do this, and I can move this over here to do this, to do that, like a Rube Goldberg.
Right.
Almost like. It's very good. It won like a ton of awards, like Game of the Year awards.
Oh damn.
It's I would say it's like 2 to 3 in complexity.
Okay.
So it's a little beefier, but it's still I think very. Yeah, you can play it.
I've heard
for
mixed things, but really the art style is what is so eye-catching to me, because it's a very beautiful looking game, and I was really like, oh, if everybody's talking about this game, it must be good. But I wanted to hear from someone who's actually played it.
Yeah, no, I really like it. I own it, so it's good.
Is that on Board Game Arena?
No,
Son
although
of a bitch!
I wouldn't be surprised though, honestly, because they seriously add. God, they gotta pay me. They seriously add like
Let's get a code.
they add like fucking 5 to 6 games every couple weeks, like every 2 weeks or so. I'm like, there are 5 new games on the site.
Damn.
It's nuts. They just added Skull, which is a great game. Like it's not just dog. I mean, okay, there are dog shit games on there, and in fact,
You guys ever played dog shit?
yeah, listen, you joke.
Wait till you hear what makes it
there's-
unique.
I played a game called Muno once, which was Uno with cow shit. I'm not joking. It was
Right.
Yeah, it was great.
I love
But yeah,
that.
Board Game Arena. I'm trying to play every game on the site,
Damn.
which involves all the dog shit ones too. There's some real bad games.
Yeah, they
on
do
there.
need to pay you. This is ridiculous. You need to stop. This is too
I
much.
just want
I know.
okay, so
I'm just
before
overdoing it at this point.
before we wrap it up and say goodbye to you, unfortunately, I just want to know what is your favorite game right now? Like, what is the game you cannot wait to play? Like, you're thinking about it all the time. What are you currently? What's your like top game right now?
Right now, there's a game called Aeon's End. Aeon's End is a cooperative deck building game where you're basically, again, deck building games are games where like you have these cards on the table and you start with like a basic deck of just whatever cards, and you're using those cards to buy new cards to add to your deck, right? And you're making your deck more and more powerful. And you and your, it's best 2-player, I think, and you and your partner are fighting this monster together, who are sending out like these monsters at you, and you play like these spells that like fire at them, and it's great. But it's also a really interesting game because in most deck building games you have to shuffle your discard pile when you need to draw again. But in this game, you don't shuffle. You just take your discard pile and flip it and just draw, which means you can plan. You can be like, I'm gonna discard these 2 cards together so that when I flip it, I'm gonna draw these 2 cards together.
Shit.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. Like it's and it's really, really like difficult, but it's really fun. All the cards do different shit. It's great.
Yeah, see, games where you can like plan ahead like that and like utilize like strategy, but also you don't have to, and you can play it just straight. Those, I feel like those are the games you're talking about. Those are like you said those were like your favorite kind of games, or a game you wanted to make, which was like one that had the option to have advanced strategy, or for anyone who doesn't play games to just be able to like play it.
The I looked it up. The art is awesome, but one of the recommendations right next to it was our buddy's game Gatefall.
I was just gonna mention that.
Gatefall. I have not heard of it. What is Gatefall?
Gatefall is Jack Dyer's new game, and he made Red Flags and what's Super Fight.
He made Super Fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know Super Fight.
This is a different one though. This
It's
one's
very
like
different. Yeah.
Yeah. He's getting manufacturing of actual figures and stuff in it. It's really cool.
It's got like a Warhammer kind of vibe to it, but more accessible.
I will say, like, as I don't know your friend, but it has pretty good ratings on Board Game Geek so far. Like,
Yeah, this guy, he knows what he's doing. He's a
Congratulations, Jack.
Yeah, Jack, you've got approval of a real board game nerd, not just fake ones like me and Elliot.
All right, let's we'll end it here. We'll say goodbye, but let's have you back because we've nerded out about board games, but we still have like I'd love to talk about your voiceover
There's
career.
so much to talk about.
I want to geek
like
out
politics.
over video games.
Like what's
politics.
going on with you? And yeah,
Yeah,
God.
who'd you vote for? No,
Who'd you vote for? What's going on there?
But we should play something. Like, I don't know. I mean, do you allow new people into your gaming world?
Oh, listen, I'll play. Like, if people are willing to play, like I'm down to play with people.
I'm gonna join Board Game Arena, and then I'm gonna hit you up and see if I can sneak into one of your games or something. Because I want to play more games, and the fact that this exists, and also the fact that like more and more of our friends are getting vaccinated means that like we will have game nights again. It will happen. Games will be played in person soon.
Yeah, and post quarantine, with I think people, at least for me, being isolated for so long, I don't want to rush out and do crazy things. But the idea of going over to somebody's house or / Airbnb and playing a game, perfect little happy medium to reintroduce my naked butt into society.
Get over that anxiety.
You have that on recording now. You have to hold them to that.
Yeah. We'll hold them. We'll hold them to it.
Yeah.
We'll try to make some weird content out of it or something.
We'll be playing board games up the ass over at Valleyfolk too. Like we're gonna start gearing up and having our friends in, so we'll invite you over for some of those and
hell yeah,
rock them out.
Please.
So,
yeah.
Do the
Thank
thing
you
where
very
you
much, man.
kick out to people where you want them to find you.
Yeah, what's your
and
plugs
check
and
out.
stuff? Plug away, my friend.
Sure. I'm on YouTube, Twitter, PROZD, PROZD, just everywhere. Just Google that, and you'll find me on all the social medias there. I'm a voice actor. I do YouTube and all that fun shit. Just check it out. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Dude, thank you so much for coming and for truly enlightening us about board games and stuff. I love when people who are passionate about things can just talk about it, and also it's interesting and fun, and we all had a really good time. So I appreciate you coming.
Truly.
Man. This was awesome.
Yeah, dude. And
Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
no, I'm glad. Yeah, I hope it wasn't just like, oh my god.
Oh no.
No.
Listen, we never know what this show is going to be when we hit record, and I'm just happy that we all got to nerd out about something that we all have varying interests in, but you really made it exciting and fun, and I appreciate that. And I hope our audience
I'm
feels the
glad to
same
hear
way,
that.
or I will
Well
come
said.
after them.
Yep, absolutely.
Again, I just
Ditto.
want more people to play games. So if you listen to this and go play a game, that's a success in my book.
And let's get this man a freaking sponsorship from Board Game.
I know,
For God's
Crying
sake.
out loud.
Damn.
This guy needs
I
a
do
code.
so much work for this site and I get nothing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Hey, everyone who's listening to this, why don't you tweet at the Board Game Arena guys and tell them what's up? We got a real cheerleader over here that deserves some goddamn recognition for once.
And after you're done with that task, go to bit.ly.com/movie game and get your own damn board game that we created.
That's right.
On pre-order now. Get the expansion packs. Get them all. Our friend here
It
has
is
played
very
it.
fun.
Yeah, thank you.
It's very fun, and we're
Professor
looking at
Mom.
some designs that this is gonna be a sexy game, y'all. It's gonna be a very sexy
yeah.
game.
Dude, I'll share you. We just got some box art. I'll share it with you after the
It's hot.
podcast.
It's hot. This baby's gonna look good on your shelf, if I say so myself.
Real good.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to the show. We appreciate you, our patrons, and you, our regular listeners, and you, our new listeners who found us because of our good friend Samuan here. So thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll catch you next time on the Valleycast. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was a really good outro.
me.
That was really good outro.
Bye.
Oh, it's so good. All right, I'm pressing stop.
Stop it.